good evening. Welcome. Welcome. This is the Four Valley Boys podcast. I'm your host, moderator, Fabian Beats. I got my guy, Big Straw, on the air. And nothing but brackets tonight. The Final Four is set for the men's bracket. The women will be set tomorrow night. We'll dive into that on Wednesday. We're going to give our initial thoughts about this and talk about NBA awards right now. And on one more thing. Straw.
Man,
before you go, you already know what for the happen right here though.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say, man. We ain't ready yet. We gotta hit this thing. Let's start this thing off right. Hit the music. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Boys. Yeah. Hold on. We them boys. We them boys.
And of course, this is the Four Valley Boys podcast. We have Big Straw with me, some guys will show up in just a moment. And of course, you go watch our show on Sundays and Wednesdays, not 9:05 p.m. Give you about 5 minutes. We run on CP time sometime, but that's why we said 9:05. We know we're not gonna be on at 9, but we're gonna be on at 9, not 9:05, but 9 or 9:05.
Some of the greatest shows in the world start 5 minutes late. If you take a look at the old World Championship Wrestling on TBS, they start at 6:05 every Saturday night. So give us 5 minutes, y'all. We're gonna be there.
We're gonna be there. We'll get the thing all right. Trust us. You know we're doing almost. This is Ryan's sponsor, Crazy Straw. You crazy? Got some straws? Crazy straws. Just for men, got a little gray in your beard. Go ahead and put that CB4 on there for Walgreens. Just for men, they want to take care of you. Sprite, the black folks soda, Sprite. Didn't know we had a soda, did you? Been like that for 7 years since Keena said on Saturday Night Live. Damon's one of Damon's sponsors, Arizona Tea. Been $1 for 30 years, and you want diabetes? Just go ahead and get your. I do it. I told you what's wrong. What I told you. What I told you gonna do. What I told you gonna do when you get on air. He gonna be unbearable tonight.
Woo!
Unbearable. He gonna be unbearable.
Hey,
Go.
what's happening, fellas? What's happening?
Can't nobody tell him nothing.
Man,
He got two of the things in there.
Yeah,
right,
man, I just want y'all to know, man. I've been waiting for a while for us to, just get on here and collaborate, man. Yeah, again, I just want, I'm one of just 4 people that make this show do what it do. Y'all gonna hear 4 all night. If y'all listen in the background real close, they already beating on the pots and pans. That's how we do it down here in South Florida. We got so many different cultures. My Latin brothers and sisters and the abuelas and abuelos, they beating on the pots and pans right now. It's final folk. We final folk. So,
man, they finna be litty in South Beach. Let me get the last sponsor before we get shot to go off the chain. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, Four Valley Boys Podcast, BuyNightShirt.com. You went to HBCU or you pledge part of the Greek 9, get your stuff from BuyNightShirt.com. Damon's Podcast, Chopping It Up, will be starting soon. Damon's going to be chopping it up like at a barbershop. We're trying to get him at a barbershop and not Michael Atwater's barbershop. Chopping it up. And of course, one of my sponsors, Crown Royal XO and Ginger Ale, the Dark Liquor. It did not replace Henny and Coke. They just treated me good the last couple of weeks when I went to the store. All right.
The Dark Liquor.
The Dark Liquor. Guys, how was your weekend?
Man, good weekend, man. Shouts out, just being full transparency. My lady was here this weekend with me, had a great time, saw Bill, and just had a great time, man. So I had a great weekend, man. Great weekend.
No shot weekend was great after the day.
Good
weekend was.
Our ladies trying to handle business right now too. So it's one of those type things with South Florida basketball right now.
Yeah, it's booming right now. Business is booming. I'm trying to see if I get a score for y'all. Right now, they are down by 13 in the fourth quarter, 141 to go. LSU is up. But they had the women's team had a great run, though. They still have a chance. 141, not saying it's not possible, but anything can happen. The way we've seen these games happen this tournament. Anything can happen.
One stop at a time. One stop at a time. One bucket at a time.
Yeah, women's basketball is a little bit, it's a little bit more dominant than the men. So it was a great run, but I didn't really think that they could beat LSU. But that don't take away from the season that they have. There's still a wide gap, honestly, when it comes to women's top seeds as opposed to men. Even when like I said, I rep women's college basketball, and the disparity from a 1 and an 8 is a big deal. Big deal.
Anatole has said it best. I think everybody can agree with the comment that's on the screen. Our brackets are not only our brackets are broke, the group's bracket is broke. Everybody's bracket. I'm trying to figure out how Tony pretty much won the bracket challenge, and his team got knocked out on the first day. His team had better picks everywhere else except for his champion, and his champion got knocked out the first round. And congratulations, Tony. He usually on Sundays with us, but he's on vacation. He's probably enjoying the vacation. Be watching, Tony. Congratulations. Salute to you.
So Tony won the fantasy football league and the bracket challenge.
Yeah, he had a great year. He's having a great year so far. A great year. I had to read this thing next year. I had to read it, make sure to find out. I put Georgia playing on suspension or something for him. Can't win college football again this year.
All right, Tony.
So Tony, we'll hear from you on Wednesday. You're gonna have a petty name on the screen for us. So we're ready to see it. Guys, is this the Final Four that you expected?
No. The only team that might have should have been there could have possibly been UConn, maybe. UConn is one of them teams that are, you think about college basketball, especially the last 20 years, UConn has been there. The Ray Allen, Charlie Villanueva, what's my guy? Kemba Walker.
Shabazz Napier.
Yeah, you think of those teams, that's the team that's supposed to be there. But San Diego State, Kawhi Leonard, maybe.
Marshall Faulk.
I told y'all before, Marshall Faulk.
Yeah, what I'm saying? Kawhi Leonard and what's the guy who used to play for the Grizzlies? I think his last name is Hamilton. Kawhi Leonard, Miami. What's the last great shot? Shot knows who the last great Miami player to actually make it pro, take his team deep into the NCAAs. Who was a Shot?
Well, people forget Miami went to the Elite Eight last year and lost to Kansas.
Okay.
So, and I'm obviously I'm a fan, but I don't watch a lot of basketball. But they had 2 players returning from a team that went to the Elite Eight. 2 of the leaders returning, leading scorers returning, and then they got Nigel Pack to come in. So, when you talk about development, like honestly, Miami was grossly underrated this year. Now that don't mean I had them in the Final Four, but I'm just saying, they were grossly underrated, and then they won the ACC outright. So, and again, I think I mentioned this last Wednesday or whatever. The same big guy, the center, Omar, he hurt his leg and he hurt his ankle the first minute of the game against Duke in the ACC. I believe that was a semifinal game. So technically, and again, that don't mean Duke wouldn't have won the game, but Miami was the favorite. So you could have had easily the ACC regular season and tournament, championship game appearance from Miami. So not to say that this is that they belong here, but I think they were just grossly underrated when you look at the people that they had coming back. They was in the Elite Eight last year. People just don't remember that.
I guess the biggest surprise to me though is Florida Atlantic. I had them going out I had them going out in the second round, and for them because they're not traditional, in my opinion. They're not a traditional basketball power. So, those 4, if you had them 4 in your bracket as the Final Four, you deserve every bit of money that you're about to win some kind of way.
Yeah. and on the
Did anybody have them? Like,
No, I don't think anybody had those.
less than 3%. Less than 3%, I believe. I remember right. Less than that. The greatest basketball player on let's see, in Miami history from Ranker, Rick
Lonnie
Barry.
Walker.
Rick Barry.
Rick Barry.
Rick Barry.
Yeah, okay.
Then Shane Larkin, James Jones, Lonnie
Shane
Walker.
Larkin played basketball?
Shane Larkin, his son. Barry Larkin's son.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Machado
Shane Larkin played at Orlando Doc Phillips in Florida. He actually played in the championship game. I don't know if he won. I think he won. No, they lost. They lost to he played at Orlando Doc Phillips and they lost to Winter Haven. No, not Winter Haven. It's another team in Orlando, but it was Doc Rivers. It was Austin Rivers team. They actually played in the 6A championship game some years ago.
Well, we know we got a lot of rich history in sports now. That we're gonna get to our picks on Wednesday. But what's your first initial thoughts on these games coming up? I believe Miami is playing Connecticut. This is an old Big East matchup because Miami used to be in the Big East before they moved to the ACC. This is an interesting matchup to me. This might be the best game of the night with UConn and Miami. What's your think? What's your take on this draw?
Man, the thing about Miami, doing a little bit of analysis because I've watched the games, but I, kind of lost. I lost a little bit of interest, but kind of got it back. But Miami is long and athletic, and I really think Miami, with them being long and athletic, and when you long, you can play a lot of defense. You can play the lanes, a lot of defensive stops when you don't think you're gonna have defensive stops. So it's one of them things where I think Miami can actually do some things in that one, and that's just about the virtue of what God has blessed you with, basically. You're long, athletic, and can jump out the building. Yeah. I like Miami to even make it to possibly make it to the championship game.
And keep in mind now, this is the big time game because that game is at 8:50 on Saturday, so that's the prime time game. So it's prime time if it's on that late. So I know you're gonna be on home on this one. So what's your first initial thought right now going into this game with UConn?
Okay, so first of all, tell me what is UConn? What seed are they?
They were a 4 seed. Remember, UConn ranked number 1 earlier this year. They won like a 6-7 game losing streak in the middle of the conference schedule.
Listen, UConn is easily going to be the toughest team that they're going to face in the tournament, and obviously not because they deep in the tournament, but Miami played against a Drake team that they should have won. Then they beat a Houston team that just came out that was missing a player. Indiana just was slow. Like Indiana just didn't really belong on the court, had a bad night. They played a Houston team that was missing one of their guys. And then Texas was missing a big guy. So Miami was able to, really pound the boards. UConn is nice. Nice. They check all the boxes. Athleticism, check. Bigs, check. Wings, check. In-your-face defense, check. Coach that championship pedigree coach, check. They check all the boxes. So Utah is a monster. They on the roll. It's gonna be tough to beat. I got them Canes.
We got them Canes. Got them Canes.
Man, the way UConn played the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8 and beat them down.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that from them because they struggled mid-year. But we got to remember, they were ranked in the top 2 for a good part of the first part of the season before they hit conference play. Marquette was great, but Marquette ran into a Tom Izzo team where their guard play and defense and coaching. We said this all year. Point guard play and coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah Wong, Jim Larinaga. There you go. Jim Larinaga's taking the team to the Final Four in George Mason in 2006, where he beat UConn to get to the Final Four. So this is a good full circle for him going to the Final Four and playing UConn for a chance at the Natty. I just think it's gonna be a contrast in styles for one thing. Miami going to need the 3-ball to fall because they struggled in the first half against Texas. I think when they got Texas into the double bonus at 10 minutes to go in the second half, that was key for them to slow the game down. And Texas had to play a different style of defense, and Miami wanted it more. They made shots, they made better plays, and they played better defense in the second half. That's what won in that game. Now the second game, Florida Atlantic and San Diego State, that might be a snail game. That's why it's at 6:00. I don't know nothing about Florida Atlantic. San Diego State, I remember Steve Fisher was there for years after he left Michigan.
So the guy that he had a long time assistant with him. I forget the guy's. I saw it today. Long time assistant has been with him ever since the Fab Five. Steve Fisher. So that's the coach that's coaching San Diego State, and he's been there for a while. He's been with. So I mean, I think he's coached there 6 years after maybe 3.
Brian did 6 years. Brian Dutcher.
Yeah. So yeah, he's been there with Steve Fisher. So the same ideals are going to carry, and that's what they're doing.
And before Shot gets in, remember this: he didn't win a tournament game until this year. He was 0 for 4 in the tournament. So all 4 of his wins in the tournament have come this year. So that's amazing right now, the run that they're taking this year. Remember, San Diego State has a top 30 defense in the nation, not their conference, in the nation. That's going to travel. That's going to travel.
Yep, defense will win championships no matter what sport.
Any thoughts on that one, Shot, before we move on to the NBA?
Yeah, like the TV advertisers and the sponsors, they pissed. Man,
Yes.
You got San Diego State, or FAU will play for the national championship. Let that sink in. We might finally see Marshall Faulk. So, I mean, again, let that sink in. San Diego State and FAU. I'm getting some feedback out of it. So that's gonna be crazy. I mean, if they had a day way, they would have had Miami playing FAU, and then that way that would have got a whole bunch of Southeastern buzz. And then San Diego State and UConn, you could have got some East-West stuff, and then hope that a Miami UConn battle, you can package that in some type of deal for the Final Four. But ain't nobody watching that. Ain't nobody watching this Final Four. I'm just being honest. I'm watching it, but ain't nobody watching this Final Four.
They're watching the second game. They're gonna watch the second game with UConn and Miami.
Right, because you're gonna have, but here's the thing about that. Just the East Coast, which is why they put the game at 9:30. Because they don't want to get a West Coast no excuses, because they wasn't gonna watch it. They wasn't gonna rush home for that. Like, I'm serious.
One of the things I can say, I agree with you, Shot. The thing that I would say is that real basketball fans, like if you're a fan of basketball, especially college basketball, this is probably what you want because you have really no idea. You know, you got no real blue blood, so you have no idea what's going to happen. You know, you got an idea, you might have an inkling. Yeah, UConn is the team that's been there, but you really have no idea. So if you're a real basketball purist, college basketball purist, then this is one of those things you welcome this, because these are teams that are really not supposed to be there. So you really, it's like, you know, you go to a movie and you don't know what's going to happen at the end. So you're going to watch it because you want to see what happens at the end. And that's exactly what we got here.
Yeah, and I agree, you know, but basketball purists, they're going to watch it regardless. But
right.
let's and I'll take myself. The most famous person in this Final Four is Bobby Hurley. He's the only person that if he walked up to you, you would say, "Hey, I know you. Like you look familiar." Now, me personally, I know Isaiah Wong because I worked out with him when he second year when he was down here in Miami, second and third 2 years ago. So I know him. The rest of them dudes I don't know. I know Bobby Hurley. And then when you look at the fact, and I know Fade, because he's doing a podcast and he's making sure you get the sponsors in, that's an East Coast matchup. Nobody from the Midwest and the West Coast is watching this game.
No.
Nobody. So and we'll check the numbers come Wednesday. We'll check the numbers.
Yeah, there's gonna be you think about it. If you put the game at 6 o'clock, probably nobody watching either game.
Yeah, and then also, who from the Final Four, from this Final Four, is a lottery pick? Right, even I know the answer to that one. Who's a first rounder?
Maybe some of the guys from UConn.
Yeah, and it would have to be somebody from UConn.
Yeah,
all the way in the Northeast. So, when we talk about brackets and what we think about the game, man, Michelob and all them people, they mad as hell.
They're like, man, these folks will be sober tonight. Say it's gonna be down. Say it's gonna be down. Oh well.
And they lost and Texas lost. Oh my God.
Oh, man, Texas would have won. Woo.
Yeah, Texas, UConn. That's what you want right there.
Speaking of
you want at 9:30.
Oh, let me ask y'all this before we move on. Mm-hmm. Do you think the two things? I said it last week. Get rid of the possession arrow. Get rid of it. Throw it away. Just jump the ball up. That'll stop a whole lot of this tying the ball up. That'll stop.
Yeah. I really think they should have gone away from that a long time ago. They should have gone away from that a long time ago. I think what it is that they think that is one of the things that makes college basketball unique. But I really think it's a detriment more than anything else. They really need to do away with that and get closer to the pro game, because most of these kids, man, that's what they do. That's what their ultimate goal is to make it to the NBA. So that's one thing they really need to get used to, in my opinion.
So like I said, I referee women's college basketball, and believe it or not, women's college basketball is closer to the pros than men's college basketball.
Yeah.
So women's college basketball has 4 quarters.
Mm-hmm.
Clock stops underneath the minute, like men and women, but you can advance the ball if you call a timeout under a minute, like you do in the men's game, like you do in the NBA game. So the men's side is slow as hell, to be honest with you, because you're basically saying in 20 minutes, anything after 6 fouls in 20 minutes, we about to shoot free throws. In the NBA and the women's game, you get 5 free throws, 5 fouls per quarter. It resets. So the men's game is much slower. The game takes longer. The game is not slower. The actual game takes longer.
Yeah.
Other things like that. So, I'm saying that because the men's side is not trying to mimic the NBA. They're a long way from that.
Yeah, I was hoping that, I know the women went to that a couple years ago. I was wondering when the men are gonna follow suit, and they haven't. And let
me tell you, it is really I love it. It's one of the things honestly that keeps me over there on the women's side, because you don't have to hear after 7, 8, 9, 10 fouls the disparity on fouls. Mm-hmm. It's never going to be no more than 5. You see what I'm saying? It's never going to be no more than 5. And then after that, the quarter, it resets. So you got 5, you're going to the free throw line. You don't have to worry about going to the free throw line for the rest of the half. The next quarter you reset and you go from there.
Yeah, it makes more sense. It makes it a little bit more equitable, and the flow of the game probably a lot more freer. So I know they took the shot clock down a couple years ago to 30. Really, I would have took it on down to 24 seconds and kept that thing moving. But I got two things. If you let's say for instance, you get to the Final Four like we have right now, would you want to reseed the Final Four teams to make the matchups more enticing? Like, say for instance, you have UConn playing Florida Atlantic, and Miami would be playing San Diego State. Would you want the NCAA to look at reseeding the Final Four?
I think so in a case like this, because you got teams that like you said, I'm not going to say they don't belong, but they're not the usual suspects. In a case like this, when you have 4, 5, 6 seeds, I would think about it just, that's a tournament thing too. I would think you would want to redo it so you could, give it a little more accountability and a little more respectability. That's me though.
What about you, Shot? Oh, you stepped away. I got one more. I'll get his thoughts when he comes back in. I got a quote from De'Aaron Fox, who gave it to Lonzo Ball in the 2017 tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put it on the screen. Give me a second. Let me see. We got some new layouts now. I got some new layouts to play with, so I'm gonna. I was playing with them a little bit earlier. Shot back on. Let's see. Let's see if I get shot on. Let's get a better. Do a 3-1. Y'all probably can't see that. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Okay, y'all can see that now.
Yep, I see it.
All right, this De'Aaron Fox shot. Oh, before we get to that, do you think they should reseed the Final Four teams? Going forward, now there's no time to happen this year, but going forward, you think they should start reseeding them?
I would say no, because I think if you do it, then people are going to know why you're doing it, and that will be mostly because of media coverage. It takes away from the purity of the game. You're basically telling the underdog, we don't ever want you to win, so you just made it to the Final Four, and then we're gonna reseed you and put you against the highest ranked team because we don't like the fact that you're here. It ain't FAU fault that all them other teams lost. And remember, FAU came in because Farrell and Dickinson, they beat what, Purdue?
Purdue, yeah.
Right. So, theoretically, if you're just going by seeding, then FAU should have been gone a minute ago, but they caught the break early and they rolled that wave. So no, I don't think you should reseed it. It is what it is at this point.
Yeah, I think it just defeat the purpose. That's what the tournament is all about. I know they asked this a couple years ago. I know the NBA talked about reseeding just from 1 through 16, like no matter the conference or whatever. But that takes away the history of the the NBA Finals. So that's just a question I want to throw out there. Mario said reseed to 16. Basically, Mario, if you can just go a little bit more in depth. Are you saying redo the whole thing? Because it seems like some of these teams were underseeded, like Duke. I wouldn't have put them at a 5 playing Tennessee, but then at the same time, I wouldn't put Tennessee as a 4 either. So if you talk about that reseeding, I could get with you on that one, Kelvin. We seen that seeds don't mean anything, especially this year. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, and if it's working, don't F with it.
But why would we? And I know you're not asking. I'm just saying, why would we reseed? Like some of these lower ranked teams was beating the brakes off of the higher ranked team. Like did we even have a buzzer beater this year? Maybe one in the first round. I don't remember a buzzer beater.
I don't think so.
Nothing memorable at all.
Yeah, this wasn't March Madness. This was a butt whooping.
Yeah.
Like, and again, I'm not just saying this because it's Miami, but Miami destroyed Houston and Indiana. Well,
Yeah.
not Houston. Houston. They destroyed Houston. And I was the number 1 seed.
Yep.
Purdue got the brakes beat off of them.
Alabama got the hell beaten out of them too. We look at it too, the way San Diego State played them. I mean, Braxton Miller, straight shooter. I'm calling him straight shooter. Could not make a shot to save his life in this tournament.
So what are we reseeding? Like they getting their behinds whooped.
Maybe they need to be reseeded before the tournament start. Maybe Alabama shouldn't even been the overall number 1 seed. Maybe Houston should have been. That might have been a different path for Houston, possibly. But I don't know.
I mean, hindsight is 2020, but this Gonzaga team looks really, really good. They were once ranked number 1. Clearly, they had a bad, middle of the year, which is why they dropped to 4. And they, the selection committee loved Duke, So once they won the ACC tournament, even though they wasn't even one of the top two in that won the conference, it was out of Miami and Virginia. But they won the tournament and they automatically vaulted them to what, a 4-5 seed?
5 seed, yeah.
5 seed. You know, Houston, again, I'm gonna go back to Houston. You know, ain't no love lost for Houston because they cheaters. You know, Kevin Sampson, you know, they like to talk on the phone and say whatever they want to say on the phone. You know, so they want to come at Miami about NIL deal. Y'all was in the Zion Williams sweepstakes, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah. Let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger. See, oh yeah, they mess around. Gave me some new layouts. Give me some new layouts. Give us new layouts and they jump in. Give us new layouts and I feel big time. All right. De'Aaron Fox made a quote today or yesterday saying the NCAA tournament, I think a lot of years the best team probably doesn't win it. It's very different from the NBA. It's one game a year out. So if you're a bad day or another team just have a good day, it could be the end of your season. But that's not what he also, that's not the only thing he said. He watches a lot of college basketball game. It's hard. The shot making is not obvious. It's not at obviously the pro level. The refs are bad, and a lot of the coaching is really bad. I can't stand it. Thoughts on that?
You know what? That's what makes the NCAA tournament the NCAA tournament, though. You have a bad day, that's it. But you know they going in. I mean, but you got you know that's the whole thing is that you got to know that when you stepping into that arena is one and done. It's win or go home, and that's what makes March Madness. This is the epitome, in my opinion. This is the epitome of March Madness. You got 4 teams that, according to what the way it was seeded, wasn't supposed to be there. This is madness. What day did you throw your bracket away, Fade? What day did you throw yours away?
Probably Friday after UCLA lost.
What day you throw yours away, Shot? You muted. You muted, Shot.
Yeah, I think I threw mine away Saturday. I was at least a day after Fade. I mean, I wasn't that bad because I was number 1 for a minute. So
I officially threw mine away last night. Was it last night when Alabama lost? I officially threw mine away. It was done.
Friday night, yeah.
Yeah, that was Friday.
That's Friday.
Oh, when I meant Saturday, I meant last Saturday.
Oh, the first weekend.
I meant last Saturday.
I mean, like a lot of other teams, I had Miami to win it, and I thought they had a chance to at least win it, even though we had we didn't have the usual suspects in there. But I thought Alabama was going to be I thought Alabama was going to at least be in the championship game. Now, half of my championship game was gone because, I mean, Kansas lost so early, but I mean, still.
Yeah, Kansas don't play any freshmen, and Bill Self wasn't there, so we can't blame this on Bill Self this year. They can't blame this.
He just won it last year, so. Yeah,
he just won it last year, but usually whenever Bill Self has a good run in the tournament, his teams usually fuck it up next year, and they go out the first weekend. You can look that up. Every year he has a good year. Next year he goes out in the first, second round. But he was out sick, so we can't blame him on this one. So it's just the players didn't play. They had no bigs. This tall player on the team was 6'7", so no bigs. But I think
I gotta address De'Aaron Fox's comment. He's saying the shot making isn't that good. I mean, that's because they're in college, and that's what make it what it is. You know, and then we talk about the refs. I mean, that's the culture. You don't like the call, then not a refs are bad. But it's funny how they say the refs are suck and this and that, and those be the same refs that ref. Like the refs that are in the tournament right now are the best officials from all of the conferences throughout the country. And so as you get, and they get graded every day. So if you're in the tournament, in order for you to go do a Sweet 16, that means first you had to have been selected as one of the top officials, and then after your game, you get graded, and then you move on from there. So some people that officiated the first round, they're not in the Sweet 16. Not that they messed up, but some people did a phenomenal job, and some people didn't. You know, and again, you know, one day we got to do an officials clinic on here, because if you rewind the tape on a lot of those calls, then a lot of the times it's, you know, the refs are right. And on the flip side of that, the refs don't get to replay the play. They get one crack at it. We get one shot, Eminem. We don't get to slow it down, freeze frame it, blow it up. We don't get none of that. You get one shot.
Yeah, because there's going to be a play I want to talk about on Wednesday with the San Diego State FAU game. Was that a foul at the end of the game where they the player made the free throws to win, basically be walk-offs? I see Mike probably going to find that play. It's probably on YouTube now, but
no, I got the play. I've already sent that play out.
You already said, okay.
Yeah,
I might look at shot. Yeah, he's his own producer today. It's a home producer today. All right, let's.
When I saw that play on, and that's another thing. Like the referee community, like we not trying to mess that up. So that play, when I sent that out, I got that play coming in from other people. And as of right now, everybody that's officials, that's a foul. Shooter's airborne. You got your hand on his hip, using him as leverage to try to go up and swat the ball. That's a foul.
You got to call it. I mean, just like the folks were up in arms with the Super Bowl, you got to make it. You got to make the call. It is what it is. It's holding. It's a foul, shooting foul, whatever. You got to make the call, no matter what the consequences are. Because I've heard everybody say that was an egregious call. The Super Bowl, it was a great game until they land a call. Okay, so if you don't make the call and Kansas City loses, then we're gonna go back to that call that wasn't made. So the refs are in a lose-lose situation. You might as well get it right.
So like exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's a lose-lose situation, because you go back, you don't want him to call that foul because you feel like you don't call that at the end of the game. But referees all across America got crucified because of that missed foul against LeBron at the end of the game.
The Boston game.
Yeah.
And it was honestly a swipe, and then he hit LeBron's forearm. Man, that's so difficult to see, you know, at that angle with those guys going so fast. And now it's all, you know, like, oh, they cheating. Like, why would they be cheating? They know they on national TV. They know they gonna get scrutinized. You know, so you can't say people are cheating now, because LeBron damn sure ain't part of the conspiracy. The way he fell on the floor, I thought somebody tased him in that game. So, like, come on. It's a foul. That was a foul. He missed it. That kid, when I first saw it, and one thing I don't do when I get clips, I never rewind. I get the clip, I play it, I tell you what I think, and then after we discuss it, then I'll rewind it. But I go one shot. So that was a foul.
Yeah. Only thing with that is, yeah, they missed the call, but we all said on the show after it happened, they had 5 minutes to win the game. They had 5 more minutes to win, and they didn't. So, you know.
One more thing.
Go ahead, Shot. Go ahead.
Because they never talk about that. Like Penny was talking about, and I said this the other day, about he was supposed to get a timeout. But you ain't finna talk about the fact that your dude was playing Olay defense. We just gonna stay on the ref because you were still up. Did Straw get off the thing to break win?
I don't know. I wonder. Like,
I got some. Hey, I'm off this. I told you I'm having a great weekend, y'all. I'm having a great weekend.
Clearly.
Yeah. It's a parent.
Yeah. So, you know, they want all of these officials to be 100% from the field when these guys are shooting 30% from the field. Like, make it make sense.
It doesn't. It doesn't. I have something. I have thought.
Are you taking a goatee selfie?
No.
Man, that thing's so clean and straight line, boy. I don't know what to tell you, boy. When I tell you I got straight 100% beef, like like straight beef. I'm looking like, and he just gonna put it all up on the screen like on camera, fake.
Oh, that brings us to our one of our sponsors, Just For Me, and I don't use it, but hey, if you need, like Fabe said earlier, if you need that CB4, that natural black, hey, Just For Men is the day. I used to have stock in them too, and I let it go because for whatever reason, this works. But
it don't move or nothing. It don't even move like it's trained. At ease, Beard, at ease.
Now, if I was to do like Denzel did in American Gangster, just pull it off.
Oh yeah. Hey, listen here, I'll fall out. Everything I believe in will be crushed right about then. Oh goodness.
Man, let's talk some NBA right quick before we get off this air. NBA awards should be coming up pretty soon in a couple weeks. Voting starts on the 10th of April. I think the last game is on the 9th. The play-in games do not count towards the vote. So April 9th will be the last day of the season. Then the play-in games kick right in after that. Right now, who is your MVP right now, Straw?
Man, got to be more careful. To be honest with you, even though he done missed the last few games, but because he won, he's done more with the overall. I would give it to LeBron, and that's because in default, and I say this biasly, and I'm saying this, I would give it to LeBron because he's the all-time leader scorer. That's a strong statement, and I say that biasly. You can move on the ratio. Go on the shot.
Oh my God. Hey, I ain't laugh as hard since Edwater said Deion Sanders was going to USC. Oh my goodness. Nah, Straw. Stop the madness. Like, hey, you gotta tell me they can't be, you gotta use the organic Just For Men. You can't be using the one with chemicals. You got that's clouding your judgment, bro.
Oh, bro.
Wow. Hey, so for real, who you really think should be MVP?
Let me think about it. Get back to me. Go ahead, shot. Let me think about it because I'm going let me think about it. But he should at least be the last place guy. At least the last. He should get some votes.
Okay. This is a 3-team race. This is a race between same people all year. It's out of Joker, the Joker man. It's out of Embiid, and it's out of Giannis. And you can make a case. Well, you can make a case for all of them. You know, Joker was falling off because of Denver's record, but now they done jumped back to the top of the conference. Milwaukee's at the top of the conference, and Embiid has been playing out of his mind. I would give it to Embiid because I think he means more to that team, and I hate to say this, but I think Joker got 2 already. So I guess I'm kind of in the same boat as Straw. I would hate to not give it to him because he got 2. I told y'all last year, let's revisit that. I felt like he was the best skilled big man of all time. Not the best, not the most dominant. We talk about Shaq, but what he does. But I'm gonna have to go with Embiid based on the way he's been playing his last 15, 20 games. He's putting on a show.
I like Embiid. I like Embiid. I like what he's done, but his consistency. But if you talk about consistency, and you made my point when you first started talking about it, Jokic. When you said Jokic and you said they fell off and then he came back and they jumped back, that is probably what's going to win him the MVP. Jokic is a 2-time winner. I mean, yeah, I could see Jokic winning another. It wouldn't surprise me if they went away from him because he's already won 2. But Jokic why not?
But tell me why though. Tell me why you would pick him.
I mean, he's going back to what I just said, the consistency, and then him being the lost piece almost, the piece that you can tell that without them, okay, without them, they are less. With him, they are more. Just that simple.
So let me make the case for Embiid. In the last 15 games, he only has 1 game of under 30. I'm sorry, because his last game he had 28. In the last 15 games, he has 1 game under 28 points. In the last 15, we talking 35-8, 31-10, 42-5, 39, 34, 36, 38, 31, 30-something, 37, 12 because he only played 16 minutes. He got hurt. 46 the other night, and then 28. Like, ridiculous. That's crazy.
I you know what? I see your point, and your point is valid. I just really think and Jokic is not having a bad year, but look at the Fave just pulled it up. This man is almost averaging a triple-double.
No argument here. Shit.
He's almost averaging a triple-double. So I mean, a big man that can bring you almost 10 assists. I mean, he one good game from a triple-double and he would get it. So I'm leaning toward Jokic on this one. Although Embiid is scoring his behind off, I really think Jokic is going to get it. I mean, he's averaging almost 10 rebounds. I mean, he's literally excuse my language, and I don't want us to lose no sponsor, but he literally a cunt's hair away from.
Whoa.
Was not expecting that one.
Hello, yeah, it's Crazy Straws. Hey, y'all, we'll do half production this week. Whoever said they're gonna cancel their order, we give them half off. Give them half off, and just promise, make the promise. I'm not gonna say anything like that again. Okay, all right. I took care of that. We ain't losing Crazy Straws.
Yeah, that was just for me. They said you got to start back using just for me.
So let's go head to head. Because when Denver played Philly, Jokic had 24 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists when they played Philly back in January.
Yeah, okay. And B dominated. I think they play again Monday or Tuesday night this coming up week, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Oh, that's must see TV.
Yeah, because that's gonna do it right there. That will do it.
Let me put
that will probably be the one for the MVP.
I'm going with Giannis though. If I had to pick,
I was about to say you can't because Giannis. You can't even name another player on Giannis' team. Middleton been hurt most of the year.
Yeah,
and they still got the best record.
Yeah, he's been hurt most of the year, coming off the bench. They've been integrating him back slowly. But actually, the main player that has been showing out has been the key for them has been Brook Lopez. That size. Yeah. That's the guy that's really been the X factor for that team. Him and Bobby Portis, that size, so that way Giannis can be free on the perimeter. That's the key. Now let me look. I want to say Philadelphia plays Denver. It's gonna be on NBA TV 9:30. That's gonna be their primetime game. So if you're in the Denver area, let me say this though, Fade.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'm going with Embiid because unless something drastic happens when they play again. But if we talking about what Embiid brings to the table, what Jokic brings to the table, man, when they played, this man dropped 47 and 18 on Joker. 47 and 18. Man, keep your stats. You can't beat me. And won. Now they was home, so let's see what Joker come back and do. But you had your 24, 8, and 9. That was nice. But I gave you almost a 50 piece with 18 biscuits and 5 order of fries.
And that's why Embiid saying the reason why he felt like he lost the MVP last year because he lost to Jokic last season in head-to-head matchups.
Well, that's why going back to shot point, this is gonna be must-see TV. Embiid ain't gonna let it happen again. At least he ain't gonna want it to happen again. If it coming down like that, he is not gonna he's gonna try not to let that happen again. So basically, that game will be for the MVP because I think it ain't but 9-10 games left in the season for most NBA teams.
Yeah, 7, 8, something like that.
Man, look at here, man. We can't be going head to head for MVP race, and you hit me with the AK-47, and then hit me with the over 18 legal age card. Nah, with the nickel piece. Nah. How Kendrick Perkins say 18 biscuits.
But
or the 50 piece, they shorted him 3.
I gotta do like Perkins, but shot. Listen, shot. That's Perk right there. Okay, Coach of the Year. I think we all agree Mike Brown deserves Coach of the Year. There's no question. Mike Brown. A 30 win turnaround for the Kings from last year.
You could go with you could actually go with the coach from Boston too.
Joe Mazzulla, he had a ready-made team though.
Yeah, but nobody expected them to as much as he had a ready-made team, he still got to coach them, and nobody expected them to perform as well without their original coach. So I think that has to be taken into consideration in my opinion.
The Kings had 14 wins last year. They're at 46.
Okay, yeah, he hands down. But I'm in consideration Joe Mazzulla.
Or Will Hardy from Utah, who would have been the coach if he wouldn't have took the Utah job.
The thing with that one now, nobody expect them to do anything. They lost a lot. The only person I think they got is Mike Conley still there, or did he get traded too?
He went to Minnesota, I believe. I remember correctly.
Yeah, so nobody expect them to do anything. They didn't have anybody. You got you Mitchell left, Conley left. There was nobody else there. Rudy
Gobert.
Yeah, Gobert left first. He was the first one to leave.
Shot, you don't have no disagreement on Mike Brown? Or you have somebody else?
Mike Brown by a landslide.
All right, 6th man of the year. I think that's like an acquired taste. I say Jordan Clarkson would be a good choice for that. Russell Westbrook, if he would have stayed on the Lakers, he had a fair shot, but he's starting with the Clippers, so I don't think he'll get it. But maybe Josh Hart. I can see Josh Hart possibly 6th man of the year. Josh Hart, Jordan Clarkson. Rookie of the year. We got a tough one. Paolo Banchero's an option. The rookie from Sacramento. His name is slipping my mind. I'll pull his name up in a second. But
oh yeah, he could ball.
Yeah, I can't. We just talked about him today. He has an old soul where he played. Let me see if I can see their roster. I'll remember the name when I see it. But I think that's an option right there. I would think, be fair to De'Aaron Fox deserves some MVP votes too.
I think he does, and
Kessler Edwards.
Okay, Kessler Edwards. De'Aaron Fox, I think deserves. He deserves.
No, sorry, Keegan Murray. It's Keegan Murray. Keegan Murray.
Yeah, Murray. That's his last name, Murray.
Keegan Murray.
Yeah. Getting back to De'Aaron Fox, so he deserves at least some 3rd place votes. He stayed the course. He was there during the lean times. I mean, they were trash. He was the only one. And man, that's huge. That is huge. Shouts out to De'Aaron Fox for staying the course, man.
And I was
What's in the process?
Yeah, and I was one last year. Y'all probably might not remember. I was saying the Clippers are a point guard away from a championship when I said trade for De'Aaron Fox.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
De'Aaron Fox makes sense for them, but they kept them. Well, go ahead, Shot.
So since we two now on horns on pre-podcast, y'all remember that's the same dude that was picked after Lonzo Ball. And Atwater and D. Rand them can tell you, I said I don't see it. I just saw the kid from Kentucky destroying.
Yeah.
But hey, they keep talking about Lonzo Ball. Somebody need to tell me what the hell is wrong with De'Aaron Fox.
Nothing wrong.
That's one. For that MVP, you gotta also look at Spider Mitchell.
Yeah.
Like he's over there in Cleveland.
Showing out.
Hot in Cleveland.
You say showing out.
Hot in Cleveland.
Yeah, like Spider Mitchell doing the damn thing.
Remember he dropped 70 early this year. Remember he dropped 70 on January 2nd, the same night as DeMar Hamlin's cardiac arrest. He's averaging 27.5 points this year with Cleveland. Darius Garland, that's a person that made the All-Star team last year. 7.8 assists. Jared Allen's been relatively healthy this year. So they have a team. They got a squad. And let's see, Donovan, 27 points. Darius Garland, 21 points. Evan Mobley, 16. Jared Allen, 14. Karis LeVert, 12. I just think they're like a small forward, a strong small forward away from making a move next year. And don't forget, they got rid of Kevin Love too in the buyout market. I believe Kevin Love went to Miami, if I remember correctly.
Yep, he did.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking that it's gonna be interesting in the East. The West look a mess, but I think the East is more defined. I think Philadelphia has a chance to get to that number 2 seed. If they get to that number 2 seed, I think Philadelphia is going to the finals. I think that. Only problem is Doc Rivers is their coach, so I think it's going to be Milwaukee. So
I don't think Philly want to go to that number 2 seed because they may have to play Miami, and that's a matchup problem.
Yeah. Yeah, Miami got the Booms for South Dade.
Yeah, I think Philly should stay in the 3. Go ahead and beat up that Brooklyn Nets team that's not supposed to be there.
Mm-mm.
And then get to the second round. So I don't think they want to deal with 3.
And before we get to our one last thing, another coach that deserves some credit also, Jacque Vaughn. For all the moves and all the craziness that's happened this year with Steve Nash being fired after 7 games, and he came in there, had accountability. They basically flipped this team upside down, and he still had them in contention for the playoffs. So if anybody deserves some votes, he deserves some votes more than Joe Mazzulla right now. But that's neither here. I just think if they make the playoffs, I think he should be a second place finish for Coach of the Year.
Who's your defensive player of the year? Because I got mine.
If I had to pick one, Giannis or Embiid.
Give me Jaren Jackson Jr. Look at the stats.
They giving him blocks on steal, man. They sliding him some left for him.
3 blocks a game. That man just blocked Mr. Collins in Atlanta tonight. He blocked him all ball. He blocked him so good tonight. You can go look at the highlight. He blocked him so good at the rim. They had to call a foul because they didn't know what. Wait a minute. It looked that good. But when you replay it, it was all ball. But yeah. Shouts out to Jaren Jackson Jr. too. First time All-Star, got his, and I mean he's productive on the offensive end too, and plays both sides of the ball. So yeah, if anything, I think he may get most improved, maybe. But I would. He's a good defensive player of the year.
Well, most improved would go to again the kid from Sacramento or that kid from Utah.
Marketing. Yeah, marketing. I mean, what he did this year is like he was unlocked. It was completely unlocked in Utah. It's like, okay, dude, what you got? And I would give him most improved to me.
Yeah.
He had to, the thing with Laurie Marketing, man, he just needed a different situation. I think that did it, though. I really think that did it. Him getting a different situation out of Chicago, and no expectations whatsoever. He's able to do his thing.
He was on Cleveland last year. Imagine him on Cleveland right now with Spider Mitchell. Imagine him on Cleveland with Spider Mitchell right now.
Shout out to the New York Knicks for the New York Knicks for nixing the Spider Mitchell trade. Shout out to them.
Yeah, they could have had him for 3 first-round picks and RJ Barrett. Could have had him easy. Could have had him. All right, look at one last thing. Go ahead, Straw.
Man, my one last thing. Prayers up, man, for Jonathan Majors, bro. Just got arrested. I saw, man, you just coming off of a good run here with Creed 3 and Ant-Man 3. Man, I hope what they saying ain't all the way true. I hope it's something to it. But prayers up for that young man, because you got a lot in front of you. Don't let your anger or anything try to take you away. Just let's hope that turns out good for him, and hope it's just a big misunderstanding, because you are doing so well, young man. You are doing so well. Let's not crash it now. Let's not crash the plane. We on a good course.
All right, Shot.
Breaking news, not breaking news, update. They had in here that the young lady that you referring to with Jonathan Majors, she recanted her story.
Oh, there we go. Back on course.
So yeah. I was watching a podcast, and the guy name escapes me. His first name is Kevin. And he brought something to light that I just wanted to share. He talked about, well, first of all, there's a poll that came out which led me to that said that Republican gains from non-college white people from the mountains of Caucasus. Their conversion to the Republican Party is not for economic and job related reasons. And this is a study that said that they didn't come over for economic and job related reasons. They came over for racial reasons. They came over for that reason, not because of jobs, economy, in healthcare and all of that. And I say that because the guy that was on the podcast, Kevin, white guy, he said I urge white America to ask yourself, when we talk about racism in America between black people and white people, and I don't condone racism, let me just say that now, of any kind. If you being racist and you black, I despise you just as much as I despise somebody that's racist and white. I despise racism all the way across the board. But when they say, and this is why I've always been so adamant, when you have someone say, let's make America great again, I ask you all, at what point was America great for African Americans? Clearly, it wasn't during the slave trade. Clearly, it wasn't doing Jim Crow. Clearly, it wasn't during the 50s and the 60s when expanding on Jim Crow. Clearly, it wasn't in the 80s when the influx of drugs, came into our communities. So maybe yesterday, day before, right in that 8-year span when Obama was president, and honestly, it wasn't great. We was just high off of what was going on till we missed all the other stuff. We couldn't see the forest for the trees. Hey, we just raised your mortgage rate by 10%. That's okay. My president is black. Hey, we can cut funding in education for the inner city schools. That's okay. My president is black. Hey, we just raised taxes for the middle class and vetoed everything that Obama tried to do to help minorities. That's okay. The guy that y'all vetoed is black. So even during that time, we it wasn't great. We was just high off the accomplishment. So when you know, so America, when you see us get on edge, is because when we see a hat that says "Make America Great Again," please excuse us if we pause and try to figure out when that was. I digress. That's my black thought. Okay.
For those that's watching the Elite Eight right now, Iowa is up 48-42 over Louisville. I'm not gonna be long because I want to go into it further when I do my research again on the women's tournament. As we know, we have Title IX. I have all this great stuff. I'm a girl dad, so I have a lot of daughters, and I try to advocate for them as much. And being raised by women pretty much my whole life, when my dad was in the military, and not a lot of male figures in on my mom's side of the family. My uncle, one uncle, two uncles actually, but mainly my grandmother, my aunts, great aunts, whoever. And it makes me think to the 2021 NCAA tournament. If y'all remember the images of the women's weight room versus the guys, versus also what the guys were eating versus what they're feeding the women at their tournament. How much money they're getting as far as something called units, where let's say for instance Duke, every tournament win they get $2 million, whatever, for winning a game, whatnot. And that conference, whatever their conference win as far as tournament, the money goes back into the pot to those schools, and it be split among those schools in that conference, and the schools can spend at whatever discretion they can use that money for. Which brings me to this point. Women's basketball is more progressive than men, like Shot said earlier. But the way that women are being treated is like it's back in 1962. The way women's basketball is more progressive than the men, but the way they're being treated in 1962, 1955, 1860, the Renaissance period. Do we need to go back to the Neanderthal period? Do we need to go back that far? Why do you hate the women's game so much? You just gave them the rights to use March Madness on their courts. When is the equity going to be equitable? Now they're about to sign another deal for the NCAA tournament. It's going to reach $1.1 billion for the men, all across Turner, True TV, TBS, and CBS. ESPN in a couple of years, when they renew that deal, just take a wild guess what you think the contract is for women's college basketball tournament. What you think the amount of money is? Just take a wild guess. Anyone will take a guess?
$5 million.
I don't know. What's it going to be?
Oh, right now it's $33 million. Right now, where is that? $33 million. In a couple of years, it might be at 108 when they redo the deals. You could redo it now and say you have a more viable product right now than the men. The game is faster. The game is more fluid. And you have more recognizable names in the women's game than you do in the men's game, because the women stay longer. Where's the equability coming from? Where's it going to happen? When's it going to happen on Mark Emmert? I know I think this is coming up on your last year as president. Thank God, because we cannot take you not another year. I'll go more in depth on it on Wednesday with the equability of women in sports and Title IX and all that stuff. But I just want to give you a tidbit of what to look forward to.
Yeah, let's tackle that on Wednesday, Faye, because I got some thoughts on that.
All right.
But I'll say this: they coming.
They coming, yeah.
They're coming. I'll wait till Wednesday. I'll wait till Wednesday.
And I would say, if you want some more context, watch Bomani Jones' Game Theory from this past Friday. It's going to make you pissed off when you watch that. Just watch that. And that's our show for this evening. Of course, you can catch us on Wednesday. We're going to give our Final Four predictions. Might hopefully, not Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers is traded by then. We can talk about it. Well, Lamar Jackson will get a contract. We don't know. Hopefully, some of that stuff will happen. We're out.
Good night, gentlemen.